Okay, so we're starting chapter 12 and we're recalling prior knowledge. So hopefully when you were in third or fourth grade, you learned about identifying point, line segment, and ray. So AC is a line. This line has arrows at either end and it could go on forever and ever and ever. But AB right here, the point between point A and point B, the line segment between that is called line segment AB. And this section here from point B to point C is called line segment BC. And we also have line segment AC. These are all line segments that are also part of the line. Now this thing right here is called a ray because it has a point. It starts at a specific point and then it goes on and on, can go on forever in this direction. So AC is a ray. A is the end point of the ray AC. CA is also a ray, and C is the endpoint of CA. XY and XZ are rays, and X is the endpoint of each ray. You also learned about identifying angles. So an angle is formed when two line segments or rays meet at an endpoint. So here's two line segments that are meeting here at this endpoint O. So this is angle O. Here's two rays that are meeting at this endpoint, X. And so this is angle X. The endpoint is where they meet at the vertex of the angle. Some other things that you learned was about naming angles. So the rays BA and BC meet at vertex B. So the angle formed is named angle ABC. We read it like this, angle ABC. Or we could call it CBA. Or we could call it angle B. We can also give it a different name, like X. So this could be angle X, okay? Same thing here, we've got ABC. This could be angle X, it could be angle B, or we could call it angle ABC or CBA. So many choices. So we're learning now about measuring angles with a protractor. And I know that you guys did this in fourth grade because I remember seeing Karen handing out the little protractors. So you're measuring this angle that's BOA. And if you measure it with the protractor, you can see that it's 30 degrees because you go here and you see 10, 20, 30. The line ends at 30 when you line it up at the zero line. You line up the bottom of the protractor at 0, and then you just measure 1 or 10, 20, 30. So this angle, you would line up the bottom at the 0, and you would measure it here with your protractor, and you see here that this is 130 degrees. So the measure of POQ is 130 degrees. Also, we, in a previous chapter, identified right angles and perpendicular lines. So remember that a right angle is an angle that's at 90 degrees. And you can put a little piece of paper in the corner and you can see that it's a true corner with a 90-degree angle. The measure of two right angles is 2 times 90 degrees, which is 180 degrees. So this entire angle across here would be 180. The measure of three right angles would be 3 times 90. So this whole section here would be 270 degrees. And the measure of four right angles is 4 times 90, or 360 degrees. We also learned that when two line segments or lines meet to form one or more right angles, they are what's called perpendicular segments or perpendicular lines. So figure AO is perpendicular to BO. In figure 1, AO is perpendicular to BO. In figure 2, AB is perpendicular to CD because it's got right angles here. And in figure 3, AB is perpendicular to CD. You can also find the measure of an angle if you have a portion of an angle. So if we can figure out the angle X right here, if we know that this is a 90-degree angle, so we've got 90 degrees minus the 55 here, and the remainder is 35, so we know that the angle X is 35 degrees, just with simple subtraction. Okay, so we're going to do just a quick check here. So R and S are points on line segment RS. PQ is a line segment. QR is a ray. And you know that because the line segments have points at each end and the ray has an arrow at one end. So right here, you could copy this on paper and mark the angles, but I think that's going to be really difficult to do. And we are going to do this kind of section where we would be measuring with protractors when we get back to class, because we don't have protractors available to us right now during distance learning. And at this point, we will do a pickup for those that are going to stay home. During the distance learning time, we'll do a pickup right around the time that the kids who are coming back for in-person learning come back. I'll make sure that we get protractors to those kids that are at home. So we're not going to do the measuring of these angles right here on numbers 6 and 7, but we can look at the pairs of perpendicular line segments. So the pairs of perpendicular line segments are AB and BC, and also DE and BC. So there are actually 3 right angles in this figure. And the sum of the measures of the right angles would be 90 plus 90 is 180, plus 90, I might have to write that one down. So 90 plus 180 would be 270. Okay. So you can also find these unknown angle measures by knowing that this is a right angle, so it's 90 degrees, and then this section here is 26. So you would just do 90 minus 26, and I'll do that really quickly here. So that would be 64 degrees. So angle A would be 64 degrees. Now, to figure out the angle the measure of angle B here, you'd have to say we've got 90 degrees, and then we have 2 sections that we know. So we'll have to subtract 2 different things from 90. So I'm going to start with 90 minus 23. So 10 minus 3 is 7, 8 minus 2 is 6. So there's 67 degrees left after you subtract the 23, and then you also have to subtract the 12. So we have 67 minus 12, and we're going to get 55. So we know that angle B is 55 degrees. And that's the end of this section.